Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. We'll start with our gathering song, I Wish I Knew How. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all these chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things I could say. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole world to hear. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole world to hear. I wish I could share all the love in my heart. Remove all the bars that still keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree everyone should be free. Then you'd see and agree everyone should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things I can do, though I'm way overdue. I'd be starting anew, though I'm way overdue. I'd be starting anew. I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I'm found, I'd fly. I'd soar to the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels to be free. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels to be free.
Okay, good morning. I'm Susan Shaner, otherwise known as Suze. I've been part of this congregation for 20 years. I've done many sermons, been on the board in various committees, taught RE for over 15 years, taught yoga and meditation, and helped with the Dorothy Day Soup Kitchen. Lots to do here. And I see our faith serving a greater purpose in leading very needed social change in our current times. And welcome to the online service of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Danbury. We are so glad that each of you are able to join us this morning, and together in community, we can ensure that social distancing does not mean social disengagement. Our weekly services are more than just a gathering of our physical bodies. It is the forming of a sacred time we make together. And whether you're well versed in the technology of teleconferencing or this is your first venture, we welcome you. For those of you new among us or reconnecting with fonder hearts, we invite you to introduce yourselves and where you're connecting from in the chat box as you're comfortable to do so. And after our service, we also invite you to stay and participate in a breakout group for individual connections and deeper check-ins. Whatever the faith and traditions of your past, whatever your theological stance, whatever your heritage, whoever you are and whomever you love, we welcome you. You can learn more about us on our website and Facebook page, and we encourage you to share our Facebook page and reach out to others who may be isolated at this time and might benefit from the spiritual connection with our loving community. I also want to bring your attention to our announcements this morning. Okay, yep, there we go. Hold on here. Yes. Okay, so Sunday, August 1st, we have a meet and greet with our incoming minister, Reverend Kathleen Rudolph, and we plan to meet outdoors on the lawn at UCD. But if it rains, we're going to move indoors. So bring a lawn chair, your own snack, and a drink if you'd like. Now, this is really important. Families with children and vulnerable individuals are encouraged to come between 12:30 and 1, during which time masks will be required for all. After that, 1 to 2:30, anyone is welcome and masks will be optional. We want to make sure that those are protected in the early parts of the gathering, so that if we move indoors, however, masks will need to be worn as any other function, any other time when we're inside UCD building. So just want to make sure everyone is aware of that. So today also, by the way, is our last sermon with Reverend Heather, who we have been so fortunate to have for the last, it was supposed to be 1 year, and then it was 2 years, and then it was 3 years. So we were so lucky to have her steady and uplifting presence through the pandemic, and we will miss her sorely. So she's really helped us pivot and stay connected and together during these last 18 months. After our service, we invite you to stay and participate in a breakout group for individual connections and deeper check-ins. And again, we welcome you to the UU Congregation of Danbury, where we welcome all in a spirit of compassion, inquiry, and service. Take it away, Heather.
We now invite you to bring a candle or chalice close by and join me in lighting your chalice. And then in our chalice lighting words, I have one candle that's been burning for a little bit, so it's hot. Getting the temperature of everything right these days is a challenge. Hold on just a second. All right. Please join me. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and justice is its light. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek and speak the truth in love, to help one another and celebrate life. Good morning. It is so good to be with you this morning. It is my last Sunday service with you all, and it's very strange to say goodbye online. And yet I also know that it is this very internet that has enabled us all to be and stay connected for the past year and a half. Though I will need to cease having any ministerial contact with you in order for you to connect with your next minister, Reverend Kathleen, it is still okay for us to keep an eye on each other and wave from afar, as it were, and I look forward to that. Do come down to coastal Delaware for a visit sometime. The UU congregation there, like UUCD, is not hard to find, and a lovely group of folks will welcome you. For today, we focus this time together on continuing to practice, to try again today, tomorrow, the next day, to be our best selves, to become more grounded, connected, and refreshed, so that we might enter into our interactions with others in the days and weeks ahead with greater calm and openness. Today, we especially hone in on the moral value of flexibility, of reminding ourselves over and over again that there need to be many right ways, that it is important to take some time to sit with what others might be feeling or going through, rather than rush forward focused only on our own concerns. May this be such a grounding, connecting, and nourishing time. Come. Let us worship together. Join me now in the Unison Children's Affirmation. With your U's, we'll bring everybody and the mindfulness of everybody here and not here with us this morning, but here with us in spirit into our minds and hearts. We are Unitarian Universalists. We are people with open minds, with loving hearts, and helping hands. We care for the earth and each other. I'm excited to share this story for you. I think this is one of the last stories I purchased through our older kids' wonderful elementary school scholastic book purchasing program. So I pulled it out the other day so that it didn't get packed, and our rising fourth grader said, "I love that book." And I was like, "Really? I had no idea." So it's good to see when things have made an impact and we don't even realize it, right? This is Be You by Peter H. Reynolds. You were born to be so many things. My wish for you, no matter where your journey leads, is for you to always be you. Be ready to take that next step toward being an amazing human being. Be curious. Turn every stone, ask every why, and keep digging deeply. Discover your own answers. Be adventurous. Live a big life. When you are ready, step outside your comfort zone. Bravely explore new paths and see where they lead you. Be connected, and I love that they're on a tandem bicycle. Find kindred spirits. Be with those who make you feel like the real you. Be persistent. Keep going, never stop. Keep going, never stop. Keep going, never stop. Be different. Be silly, be quirky, be odd, be unique, be weird, be colorful. Be okay with being different. Be just the way you are. Be kind. Be understanding. Help those around you to be themselves. Listen, then listen some more. Learn more about who they are. Be brave. Try new things like this diving board. Take a deep breath and plunge forward into new experiences. It gets easier every time you try. Be your own thinker. Think for yourself and set your own unique course. It isn't always easy, but you'll be heading in the direction of you. Be okay being alone. Take time to be on your own. Hear your own thoughts, your inner voice. Listen to your heart. Be patient. Being more you takes time. Take a deep breath. Relax. Let your future unfold at its own pace. It will be worth the wait. Be okay reaching out for help. When you need a helping hand, a compassionate ear, an encouraging word, reach out. As you voyage out into the world, remember, no matter what, you will always be loved. You are ready, so go ahead. Be you. Be very, very you. You, CD. Now is the time in our service for the sharing of personal milestones. How are you, your families and circles of communities doing this morning? What notable events have occurred that are energizing you forward or that others should know about so that we can hold that sorrow or concern along with you? Please share a note in the chat to help us all be more connected with one another.
It's now time for our congregational offering. If you are with us for the first time, feel free to pass the virtual plate, as your presence here is your gift to us. Members, please express your generosity by clicking the link that is posted in the chat to make a donation or pledge. Even though we're not in our sacred space on the ridge, we are creating our holy place together, and our operating expenses remain the same. You may also mail a check to UUCD at 24 Clapboard Ridge Road in Danbury. Thank you for doing your part to support and sustain this community that we love. Please join me now in our congregational response. In the spirit of compassion and service, we dedicate these, our offerings.
Just as I am embarking on a next chapter of my life this next week, when the movers come to load up the moving truck with all our things and drive it to Delaware, so too are all of us, in one way or another, embarking on new adventures with each new day. Our inner worlds are their own frontiers, with countless opportunities for introspection, challenge, and growth. Recommended to me by a friend I really respect, I have been diving newly into daily meditation practice using the 10% Happier app, which I commend to you. Let me know by text if you'd like a free 30-day guest pass, and I'll send one off to you. I have definitely realized by now in my 46 years of life that I need to keep refreshing my ways of taking care of myself. There needs to be something new at hand in order for me to stay lively and engaged with it. Well, these days it can feel like there is a whole lot that's new that we don't choose, right? And I get that that can feel uncomfortable and frustrating at times. We have a deep human longing for comfort and familiarity. Honestly, I've often thought that that's part of what congregations provide on a weekly basis, at least. Some sense of familiarity, ritual, the calm of routine. In congregational life, we always need to balance out that longing for comfort with enough change and vitality to also stay dynamic and relevant to the current moment. One of the ways UUCD's leadership and that of many other congregations has talked about next chapters of 2021 is by using the word return. How do we want to return? I've been reluctant to use the word reopen because it implies that we as a congregation and community were closed, which is far from the case. Most of us have stayed in good touch with one another, sometimes even in more frequent contact than we would have been pre-pandemic. So maybe how do we want to be with whatever comes next is more apt. As I've been mulling over this topic this week, everything in our world has seemed relevant, as is often the case when I'm sermonating, but maybe even more so right now with so much in flux. Internationally known tennis player Naomi Osaka, only 23 years old, is on the cover of the current issue of Time magazine, stating very clearly in her own words, "It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to talk about it," which is a sermon in and of itself, right? We need to be honest with ourselves and one another about how we are really doing and invite each other into genuine conversations about our inner landscapes. Acknowledging and talking frankly about the situations we're in is crucial. For another example, yes, in case any among you are still wondering or doubting it, we must talk about racism with our families, our children, in our schools, and in our shared country. And if that's called critical race theory as a subject or topic, so be it. As Melinda Wenner-Moyer writes in the New York Times this past Thursday, racism won't end until parents and children see prejudice, recognize its perniciousness, and unravel the system that fuels it. And then in Oregon, from where I just returned this past Tuesday morning at 3:30 a.m., the bootleg fire has churned through more than 212,700 acres, officials said in their latest update. It is the largest of 9 active fires in Oregon. Al Lawson, an incident commander, advised firefighters of the seriousness of the fire in a statement when he wrote, "As you go out there today, adjust your reality," he said. We have not seen a fire move like this in these conditions this early in the year. Expect the fire to do things that you have not seen before. Adjust your reality. I keep thinking about that instruction, relevant for us all in different ways. Adjust your reality. The world is changing dramatically all around us. What is the situation that we are called to be present to today? Sometimes how we interact on a very day-to-day, person-to-person level in our local communities has the most impact. I was struck too by the story of a Cape Cod restaurant this week whose owners chose to close down for just part of a day after a customer was so rude that he made one of their employees cry because the restaurant wasn't open yet for him to place his breakfast order. One of the co-owners of the restaurant, Ms. Felt Castellano, said that some customers had assumed that their reopening would be business as usual, but had not grasped that restaurants are still struggling with staffing and supply shortages, which can mean that wait times are longer and that some items on the menu are not available, which she said has been a source of some of the verbal abuse toward the restaurant's employees. Recently, when another group of diners for this restaurant didn't get the table that they had requested, she said, they threatened to sue. Good grief, right? This is the world we live in right now, and it's messy and complicated and truly always has been. And there's the rub. For me personally and individually, when I reflect on this question of how do I want to return, I pretty quickly come to the intuitive conclusion that this period of our human experience is not actually that different from any other. Perhaps the pandemic and climate change put some things in sharper relief in terms of how we as human beings are called to respond. but there was already increasing inequality, mass incarceration, families separated at our national borders, climate change, and so on. So in terms of how do I want to return, my shorthand is more simply, how do I want to be? How have I always wanted to be? What is possible if I and we can work together better with others in our lives and communities? And these are the perennial questions for us as dedicated Unitarian Universalists, many of whom I would broadly categorize as religious humanists. We are trying every day to be our best selves, connected through this community with each other, in pursuit of larger goals of individual and systemic change together. We are trying every day to be our best selves, connected through this community with each other, in pursuit of larger goals of an individual and systemic change together. These are the essential questions, perhaps the essential question. How do I want to be alongside others? And so then when I return to thinking about the new normal ahead, or reopening or returning or whatever, however you think about it, the next phase, it is not really much different from any other time. Our lives and world are full of challenges. How do you wish to face them? I know I don't want to make someone cry because I'm so self-absorbed that I think my breakfast order is more important than anything else. I don't want to fine someone thousands of dollars for not attending my press conference. It was the loud cursing of young children at the amusement park yesterday that got me all steamed up. Erg, is that really necessary? The number of F-bombs was kind of off the hook. But I have learned to take a deep breath in some instances and remind myself I can keep my own mouth cleanish and, more importantly, shut. Flexibility is a value that is touted a lot to children in schools these days. Sometimes I think we expect a lot more flexibility of our kids and of others than we do of ourselves. In what ways can we allow for a shifting in ourselves and our communities that enables more people of all ages and abilities to be included, heard, seen, and involved? I'm going to give you some specific examples of things you all might want to ponder during the coming days and weeks. And I invite you to really think about, meditate on how you can soulfully prepare yourself best to roll with how things could be different at UUCD this fall. If you're connecting with us for the first time or from a distance, just enjoy these examples of things that more local in-person folks might be trying to develop flexibility with. I invited Chris Creeder on the Tech and Sunday Services teams and board co-president Margaret Henderson to brainstorm for us some examples of ways things may well be temporarily or permanently different at UUCD in the next chapter, the next phase. Here are some of their thoughts, in no particular order. And I just invited those two sources of input because I knew they'd have some details to share with me. We will need to be considerate of people at home and in the sanctuary simultaneously. How can we think of our congregation and community on Sunday as both the folks in person and at home? Will congregations to Sunday milestones of our online members have to be read by someone at the pulpit rather than in their own voice? The gift of technology can bring us guest ministers virtually. So even if some of us have the ability to be in person, our minister might still be virtual. How will that feel? We might not all get to be in person each Sunday. With CDC guidelines and capacity restrictions, we might need to take turns being in person and consider virtual community as worthwhile as being in person. The risk of shared food at coffee hour may take a while to come back. We keep each other safe by not having coffee hour. Children can't be vaccinated yet and are at greater risk. I confess I Googled the other day, when will children be able to be vaccinated for COVID-19? And it did not get me any clarity. Early on in the pandemic, our elder community was at greatest risk, and we thought of them first, and we all masked. Now we must do the same for our children. Wearing masks supports the common denominator. It keeps everyone safer, children, the immunocompromised, etc. Additional volunteers and possibly staff are needed to support in-person and simultaneous virtual connections. You might consider helping to run a Zoom or service recording system, even if that's a new frontier for you. Music might be on video or it might be in person. Be prepared to sing with a mask on so that we can all participate. In person in the Sunday service hall, how might the presence of a large TV screen feel to you? There may need to be changes to window coverings and wall hangings in order to create better lighting adjustments. There may be general uncertainty at first. This is new for everyone. Please trust the decision makers and reserve your initial judgment or reaction. Please don't snipe at your lay leader, peers, staff, or the next minister. Consider the idea of reservations or limited access at any one time. Trust that lay leaders will be doing their best to set up a fair system. Even once we all understand the next phase setup, it could change at any time. We will need to be prepared for plans to change. Be mindful that it may be awkward reconnecting with old friends at first. I still can't just informally give someone a hug without thinking about it. Like, wow, I'm giving someone a hug. How weird. Give it time. Consider holding space for welcoming new and newer folks while enjoying old friends and juggling the strange social dynamics of being in person again after so long. And everybody is returning at a different pace, right? So while you may be completely comfortable with something, somebody else, this may be their first venture into a shared public space. There will be some different opinions about how much we protect vulnerable and unvaccinated people and how much we leave the responsibility to them to make the choice that's right for them. Don't vilify those you disagree with. Instead, be curious. Ask, why do they think that? And allow time for more than a pat 20-second answer. Value other people's experiences and perspectives. In order for the best possible air circulation, it may be too hot or cold for you in the Sunday service hall at times. Fewer people may choose to come out in person than what we're used to. Everyone may need to sign a waiver, and the logistics of that will need to be worked out in an ongoing way. Contracted services like maintenance and cleaning are not yet back in place. You may need to pack out whatever you pack in. Anyone singing may need to be masked, and any singing may have to be moved towards the end of the service to minimize exposure to the aerosols it generates. How will we enforce or remind folks of the importance of mask wearing if necessary? This is just a quick brainstorm from a couple of your dedicated lay leaders. So perhaps it's gotten you to have some feelings, or perhaps you have some other thoughts to share. I encourage you to take a walk or do some staring into space after this service, and perhaps write an old school note card of thanks to those who are carefully trying to think through all these things on your behalf and on the behalf of everyone in the whole congregation. As you as a community move forward into 2021 and 2022, please be mindful of not just what works for you, but listen for and ask about what others need in order to stay connected. This is not a fee for service business exchange, right? This is a community of individuals and families who covenant to care for one another and work together. As the religious education program for children and youth takes shape over the course of August and September, consider what ways you can participate and be supportive of it. Kids, volunteer teachers, and families will all be co-creating something that is different from what UUCD has offered in the past, different from what some among you experienced or your kids experienced. And truly, that's as it should be. All our programs need to adapt, to adjust our realities to the world we're now in. Another Olympic athlete featured in Time this week, Allison Phoenix, said, "There was a time I almost started to believe that maybe I didn't have anything more to offer, except that she can run fast. I never really showed too much of who I am because people could dissect me, and then they might find out this or that and not like or support me. But when you speak your truth," she's learned, "on the other side of that fear is freedom." May you move into this next chapter, the next chapter for you, your family, and communities, for this congregation, recommitted to being your best self and being open to the needs of others. Speak your truth and ask others to speak theirs. Give each other the grace of sick days or off days. Adjust your reality to this ever-changing world. Breathe deeply, breathing in acceptance and breathing out resolve. As in our children's book today, be ready, be curious, be adventurous, be connected. Know the mantras, teachers, mentors, guides, and words of wisdom that remind you of who you want to be in this world. Together, you create this co-created, beloved community. Together, you imagine and then make real the dream of a community that celebrates together, that offers comfort and care, that works to create justice and encourages one another's lifelong growth. May this be so for all our days to come. One of the readings that comes up for me regularly and that I want to leave you with today is this prayer by the Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman. Alongside these words, I invite you now to conjure up in your mind's eye a local place of solace that is meaningful to you. 2 weeks from today, Deb Casey will be presenting a service on such places and invites you to send her pictures or messages that describe your favorite local spot for reflection, relaxation, or contemplation. See more details about that August 1st service in today's Sunday service announcements in your email. For now, just identify, ponder, and imagine that place, public or private, in your mind. And then let these words nourish us all during this time of introspection. The Moments of High Resolve by Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. Despite the dullness and barrenness of the days that pass, if I search with due diligence, I can always find a deposit left by some former radiance. But I had forgotten. At the time, it was full-orbed, glorious, and resplendent. I was sure that I would never forget. In the moment of its fullness, I was sure that it would illumine my path for all the rest of my journey. I had forgotten how easy it is to forget. Little by little, there crept into my life the dust and grit of the journey, details, lower level demands, all kinds of cross currents, nothing momentous, nothing overwhelming, nothing flagrant, just wear and tear. So now, once again, in the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of the holy, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempests, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. Take a deep breath of your own resolve with me now. And then let us join together in singing with Jerry, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the head, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
We are approaching the end of our service. It is now time to extinguish our chalices. So please join with me in reading the words, "We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again." Please now join in the closing hymn called "Wake Now My Senses."
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your love. Giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quest for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the white sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a plan that transformed by our care.
Each and every day, may we wake with renewed commitment for justice to be our guide. May we make a renewed pledge to join with all people whose rights are denied. May we take not for granted a privileged place and trust that there is a love that embraces the whole human race. May you find this each day to be so. It has been a great joy and a privilege to serve as your minister these past 3 years, to join in co-creating community and living through the realities of these memorable times alongside you. I will miss you. Following the postlude, please do stay with us for breakout groups if you'd like. And if you're heading off into the rest of whatever this Sunday holds for you during the postlude is a good time to do that. When you do, close your screen and return to the tactile world around you today. Go with love in your heart, your spirit nourished by peace and the energy of this community, your actions committed and recommitted to creating greater justice in our shared world.
There is no future, there is no past. Thank God this moment's not the last. There's only us, there's only this. Forget regret, or life is yours to miss. No other road, no other way, no day but today. I can't control my destiny. I trust my soul. My only goal is just to be. There's only now, there's only here. Give in to love or live in fear. No other